Shrink potion, maybe need it. Fine.
As the first quarter of 2023 comes to a close, we're hitting a few milestones here for what we call internally
Is that
the
better?
Evergreen Content Team. That's the folks that are dedicated to the creation of weekly, recurring,
Do y'all want to see my nail polish collection?
Content. For Inside Star Citizen, today's show represents the completion of our 4th year and 150th episode since that first evolution from Around the Verge in 2019. And when you factor in the legacy of ATV and Wingman's Hangar before that, we're now just passing the 450th episode of this continuing
Do you want to see me touch grass, or do you want to see my nail polish?
You'll find from any game developer anywhere else. And yet, somehow, still, we never show anything good. It also marks the personal completion for me of 8 years shepherding over 1,200 videos showcasing the...
Next, you're going to say that you also want to see my makeup bag full of dildos. Is that what you're going to say? Is that what you're going to say? You just want to see everything? Sure. If I'm offering, oh my gosh.
Creation of this project. Even that one holiday live stream we don't like to talk about anymore. So, to sign us off for this quarter, before we go about our regularly scheduled hiatus, we're bringing back an old favorite, that grab bag of tiny looks at various aspects from all over development, the Sprint Report. Now, for those of you who maybe have never seen one of these before, a sprint is what we call the internal 2-week cadence where developers go off on a task, come back to check in, see everyone's progress, get some notes, and then either move on to something else or go back for another 2-week sprint on the same feature.
Oh, I did,
so,
don't worry.
What that means is what you're going to see here this week is actually internal developer art, the kind they don't usually make to be seen publicly. It's not the flashy and somewhat mentally unstable work of the ISC gameplay capture team.
Sprint.
Been on quite a streak recently. Possibly because we changed their medications.
Uh-oh.
So without further ado, let's jump into the Inside Star Citizen Q1 2023 Sprint Report and Clam Bake Showdown. I'm assuming that editorial will put a nice, subtle title on screen right here.
Make sure
also,
that if you want to see the
Clam Bake
pictures,
Showdown. I don't
you're
know
in
why
the
I said
Subbies
that.
only Discord channel.
Let's start things off with some spacecraft and vehicles, where there was recently a small onboarding task for a new hire to update the remote turrets for the 600i from Origin, which you can see here.
Oh.
I think we can all agree it's a noticeable improvement over what's in the game today.
Oh gosh.
And if you watched last week's ISC on the upcoming changes to tractor beams in Alpha 319 and beyond, you might have noticed the Argo SRV flying around in that Beyond section. Here's a closer look at its progress as it currently makes its way through final art towards a scheduled release later this year.
Oh shit, I'm really doing bad on my nails.
Now, for those who follow the progress tracker on the public roadmap, here are your first looks at 3 vehicles currently making their journeys throughout the pipeline, starting with the RSI Lynx Rover, companion sojourner to the famous Ursa we all know and love, an often found package with the luxurious Constellation Phoenix.
That's the one, yeah.
It's currently in gray box phase, and it's nice to see the RSI styling continue to evolve, especially with those tires. I mean, I'm not usually a tires are cool dude, but those are cool tires, right?
Sure.
And as we move inside, we can take a look at the cockpit coming along. And then there's the rear, which is at the back, and which is already far more fancy than it.
Okay, everybody, in case you didn't know, the rear is in the back. The rear is in the back. I never knew that before.
It's Ursa Brethren. Okay, I thought the tires were cool, but can a chair also be cool?
Chairs are
that
cool.
Looks like a comfy ass chair.
It does look comfy.
No, I just edited it out. Yeah, it'll be fine. Good job. There's also the Crusader Spirit, which just entered gray box phase recently. You can see here early work on the exterior, making certain every part of it matches the metrics laid out in the white box phase before it. Then popping in through the rear of the ship, which, like the Lynx, is also in the back. And then into the cockpit that's looking, well, a bit contrasty at the moment. But that's not uncommon for gray box phase, as this period is mostly about defining shape language and material breakup before everything gets refined later in final art phase. And then let's take a look at the gray box bomb bay for the bomber variant that's being worked on in tandem with all the others. Finally, let's look at recent gray box progress on the Apoa Santok Yai, the alien Shion fighter, where you can see the exterior coming along pretty well. The thrusters are being modeled out.
Oh, is that its little feet?
And they've started exploring how the landing gear will work, experimenting with the shape language a bit to make certain they're beefy enough to believably hold the mass of this entire ship when all is said and done.
I don't believe
it. And as for when you're going to see the 600i turret, the Lynx, the SRV, the Spirit, the Santok Yai, and more make their way into the persistent universe, I'd recommend, as always, keeping an eye on the public roadmap for details when they become available.
Okay.
Now let's move from ships that fly to winged creatures. As astute readers of the monthly report might already be aware, one of the many things the AI team is currently working on is pushing Boyd's development in the persistent universe.
Ooh.
Now, Boyds are the algorithmic behavior of small creatures that can populate the planets and moons of the persistent universe, with a test here of condors slowly learning to avoid flying into mountains or drowning in the oceans beneath them. Dun 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 Condor Man.
What?
Nobody, huh?
Okay.
Just me?
Boys.
And then some work on ocean fish. Here,
I know they did the bugs recently, right?
Utterly unanimated.
The roly-polies?
It's just a test of behaviors here, people, without all the motion parameters that'll make them look good one day.
Now, I'm including this as a test. If I see all you out there on the internet's like, these Star Citizen fish look great, I'm gonna know you don't listen to a word I'm saying. My feelings will be hurt.
These fish look
Meanwhile,
great.
the Interactables team, formerly known as the Props team, have been running through and physicalizing a bunch of assets for the persistent universe, like these weights for gyms like the ones you might find in New Babbage. Similar to the fish we just watched, this is also before animation has had their chance to contribute. So let's not judge the...
So are you going to be able to exercise, and will I actually get real life gains? Can I actually get real life gains from exercising in the game? No. Yes, in game? No. Oh, man. Okay. So I actually have to, I'm a herder of feelings. I am. I have to continue exercising IRL. Hi, Irene. How are you?
The throwing form being displayed here. Still, it's nice to see even the littlest things in the verse behave naturally with realistic mass and physics whenever possible. This effort to make things behave as you'd expect them to also extends to the coffee machines of the verse, with a pass recently done to go through and repair their broken functionality. Now,
I do like coffee.
I did consider turning this section into an update on either bartender or mess hall features, just for old time's sake. But someone who will go unnamed stopped me. Just know that there are heroes out there looking out for each and every one of you.
Okay.
Also, it looks like the team developed a few new coffee mugs along the way.
I do like coffee mugs.
Let this video play for a bit. See a couple coffee cups in action, and think about how much bartender stuff I'm not talking about right now.
Why?
Also, speaking of bartenders, if you want some Interactables of your own, there's this new set of Star Citizen pint glasses up for pre-order on the web store.
If I drank beer, maybe, dude. If you had coffee mugs, I'd buy them. Do they have coffee mugs?
I asked if they wanted me to promote them, and they said
do?
no, because
You
you'll
got a
probably
link?
do something silly and stupid with it. And I said, leave it with me. And they said, What? No, we said no. And I said, no problem.
Is he gonna break one? I would think that was funny. No.
Back to the Interactables team. They've also been prototyping a new way to hang a variety of posters on the walls of the player habs and spacecraft with these new expanding electronic devices that could let you decorate any space that's marked up for them. The prototyping here is using common adverts for in-universe events, but the possibilities of this feature become apparent very quickly in allowing players to not only decorate their spaces, but to collect and memorialize important moments from their time in the persistent universe, to take missions to set up flyers for in-game shops or events, post bulletins for bounty missions, and much more. And this last bit is from both the Interactables and Mission Feature team, who have been developing the next dangerous new contraband to sweep its way through the persistent universe, grasping weevil eggs. Grasping weevil eggs.
That sounds dangerous.
What's the file name?
Oh, no, that's what it is. Huh.
Let's switch on over to the environment, planetary, and lighting team's work with these images of updated atmosphere progress for the planet Hurston, which adds a stronger layer of pollution much closer to the planet's surface that helps suck light out of the atmosphere, add a richer gradient, and really just makes the place seem dirtier overall, which we can expect to play very well with the upcoming Loreville 2.0 and Alpha 3.19, some of which you can see here.
Did I hear that right? We want it to be dirty? Gonna make it dirty. Oh, hi. Winky face.
Here. I'm just gonna let these images speak for themselves a bit.
They are pretty.
And we'll take a deeper look at how light, atmosphere, and the new cityscape all come together in Alpha 3.19 when ISC returns from hiatus in just a few weeks.
Oh, thank you.
And while the atmosphere of Hurston is getting a little love, so too are the verdant forests of Microtech. As part of a greater overall overhaul we'll be discussing more of in the coming months,
are we going to be able to
forests
walk
of Microtech
around?
are receiving a performative refresh that will make the environment seem richer and denser visually,
outside the cities,
while providing more gameplay opportunities for cover during missions, racing, and other activities galore.
Hey, SPD,
The landing zone teams have also completed a sprint, adding additional mission locations scattered around the planet Crusader in the style of resort hotels that can utilize overlays for pleasant, in-use active businesses, as well as those taken over by the ever-present and vile Ninetales. Each new cluster is designed to be a procedural home for a variety of mission types, and looks to draw players out from Orizon and into the far corners of the gas giant.
Taos and Farmington, oh my gosh.
And down on the surface of Hurston, work is underway on an early white box phase of local law enforcement offices, a place for players to utilize the next evolution of bounty hunting gameplay we'll discuss more about later this year, to collect, or in this case, drop off the captured bodies of criminal outlaws collected by players.
Bodies.
Now the drop off here is right up front, because in early tests, it was getting kind of weird just walking through the hallways, pushing bodies deeper and deeper into the facility. Unless you're into that sort of thing.
What if I am? What if I am?
You can then also check out the bounty boards to collect new missions here.
Okay.
Or go forward into the shop and resupply as needed.
You would be concerned.
And there's an office for meetings, but who needs more of those in life? And then we bring ourselves to the detention
Nails are
area,
drying now,
where a number of cells can vary from location to
hopefully
location.
they look good enough.
I suspect that many of you will be looking forward to spending your time anywhere else besides Kleischer, even if it's just a jail and not a prison. Also in white boxes, the pre-production blockouts for a variety of building interior modules that will fit inside the towering skyscrapers of New Babbage on Microtech, being developed and tested in situ simultaneously to work out and discover anything developers might not have considered or recognized as necessary in the original mandate.
Okay.
The idea here is that once the player lands, they would enter this particular interior from the very top, encountering a lobby and expected elevators. Then, after a brief trip down, emerge into a number of different interior modules such as block of player apartments seen in the example here.
Do I have to remember where my apartment is? Because, you know, I won't remember that.
And speaking of modular interiors, the Montreal Tools team
yes.
continues their work refining the very process used to make locations for the persistent universe, including several sprints on something called the PU Locations tool,
Oh, the
a
marker,
plugin
that will be helpful.
artists and designers
Haven't
can use
watched
to
anything
build
in a
and
few
iterate
years.
modular locations quickly for the various star systems of the persistent universe. What you're seeing here is the PU Locations tool fully integrated into
We
the
need
game
like a
editor,
guild.
where this person has decided they
We need a guild. Or I know they're not called guilds. My brain's just not working. Base. We need a base. An organization base. Yes. We need a base. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. No, a base. I want it to be called a base.
they wish to create a space clinic in Pyro.
We have an
No
org.
doubt
We
a
don't have a
location players
base.
will visit quite often in the lawless frontier that awaits. Next,
I don't
let's
know, but
cook
I
the
want
first
one.
module, which is the lobby and includes the relevant connectors necessary so that the player can traverse from one room to the other without falling through into the cold depths of space. It's important players feel safe in their space stations, at least from the environment art. Legal note, this does not extend to elevators, which are a unique curse upon players and developers alike.
Yes! Elevators! Hi, Fabian. Hi, Notorious. You know, it's probably going fine. It's sometimes it goes better than other times. We'll get there, MGL, don't worry.
Next is what's called the Universal Room, which is
How
a
about
super
escalators?
fancy programmer term for
I don't think there are any.
hallway. They know it's true. We can even change the seed if we don't like that particular hallway and generate another and another, each one creating the various connectors needed for us to continue building. And then some side rooms, or in rare cases, a rear room, which is usually at the back.
Elevators are worse than any
Some
enemy.
shops
Yeah.
like the pharmacy. Oops, an assert. I'm going to leave that in there for solidarity with developer pain. Now let's
The
go
rear's in
inside
the
and start
back.
cooking some overlays, which is basically everything involved in the set decor that
Oh,
will
no,
further distinguish
Notorious.
one space
How
clinic
far
from
are
the
you?
next. Things are pretty generic at the moment, so we turn on our viz areas, check our tags, start the cook, and whoa, nice. We move forward. Looks like we forgot to cook a container. Easy enough. We're not going to put rooms here, so let's go ahead and start closing these connectors off. And then we can cook us up another overlay for this side room here.
Pixar doesn't
Nice. And this process is repeated in all subsequent rooms, and overall it's another terrific example of how game development is exponential and absolutely non-linear in progress.
Now, as asset
I don't know
libraries
if
are
we will
built and
today.
grown and tools are conceived
eventually,
and iterated
yes,
on,
we will
the
play again,
progress
but
you
I
can
don't
make
know
at
if we
one
will
point
today or
should
not.
be exceeded by the next.
Not
And
until- I'm not
overall,
playing
becomes
nothing
a
until my nails are
continuing
dry.
reminder that the struggle of what comes before is necessary and right to birth the improved technologies, efficiencies, and general effectivenesses of everything that comes next, including a new version that does everything you just saw in one click that recently became available to developers.
And while we're talking new technologies, let's wrap things up this week with some work from the
Do we
PU
have
character
cake? I
art
hope
team,
so.
which had a small sprint working to convert some of our older legacy assets to newer resources that have been developed over recent years, including Layer Blend V2 and the ability to spawn items with specific levels of wear and decay. So this means that not every version you find out in the verse is going to look exactly the same.
Oh.
The team is also using the opportunity to discover more chances to
Maybe.
further modularize existing armors like the Nomad and Light Outlaw you're seeing here, as well as many more we'll be showcasing later this year. It's part of a continuing effort to add more customization to what you wear in both the new stuff that's coming down the pipeline and what's already there in the persistent universe. And that customization also extends to a variety of tints that can be used for spawning armor variants within the universe, which you can see in some early explorations here. This will allow mission and location designers to specify specific variations of components and tints for different areas, or use procedural tools to randomly generate dozens and dozens of variations for each outfit. And when that gets extended,
Can I choose my own colors? Or do I just have to choose the colors they have? Sin, thank you. Enjoy the lurk. Enjoy, or have a good rest when you get to bed.
to many of the outfits already within the universe, this will get us a far greater variety of things within the persistent universe than we have today.
Yeah, but I want
And
to make it my
I said
own
we were
color.
going to wait until our last big segment on Lorville in just a couple weeks once we return from hiatus, but let's go ahead and leave you with just a few shots of the absolutely fantastic work the lighting team is doing.
I'm still
bringing
waiting
this
for him
new
to knock
Lorville
over one of those
2.0 to life.
glasses. Because that would be something I would do.
Yeah, I'm gonna
just shatter a
shut up and
glass.
let several thousand words of images do the talking instead.
It does look very pretty. Rip the whole computer.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that there are, as always, a lot of
I learned the rear is in the back. The rear is in the back. That is what I've learned.
ships and vehicles in the pipeline, all scheduled to make their way to the persistent universe throughout the remainder of this year. That work to bring fauna to the persistent universe is back on the menu. That grasping weevil eggs are a thing, as is the continuing work to physicalize as many aspects
He
of Star
told me.
Citizen as possible.
Did he lie?
That locations, new and old,
Did you
continue
lie?
to be
Dude,
iterated on
Sir, did you lie to me? Yes or no?
and improved upon, as do the tools our team
Yes
members
or
use
no?
to create them. And that, boy howdy gee willikers, I'm pretty certain we're just gonna park
Pretty
the only
certain he
constant
lied to me,
outside
okay.
Louisville at night for all of Star Citizen Live next quarter. Now, as we're at the end of this quarter, ISC is going on its regularly scheduled hiatus, but the work doesn't stop there. Next quarter, we'll be back with our final looks at Lorville 2.0 before it goes live in Alpha 3.19. We're going to take a deeper look at the vast changes and improvements coming to Arena
Rear
Commander
equals
after
back,
that,
you swear.
as well as the new derelict settlement towns, new player experience tutorial, a sequel to the buggy racetrack in Orison, but for Microtech, explorations of the new ships and vehicles arriving at this year's Invictus launch week, a discussion with superstar concept artist Gavin Rothery about envisioning more ships for Star Citizen than anyone else alive. We're going to look ahead to a whole bunch of new features coming in Alpha 3.20, and then of course continuing our journey to 4.0 here and there along the way. It's been one hell of an 8 years, and the last 4 of them bringing 150 episodes of this show to you has been a blast. And we're still getting better at doing so.
I don't
each
know
and every
anymore,
week.
O'Reilly.
Now, I can say that because I'm not talking about myself. I'm referring to the talents and work of Will, Dave, Alex, Casey, Jill, Stephanie, Amanda, Caroline, Tom, David, Luke, Justin, Jake, Vicky, and now Mercy. Welcome to the team, who have all made this last year the best one yet. Thanks for putting up with me, and here's to another
Is
150
the rear in the
more.
back, though,
Oh, and if
Zai?
you've noticed and liked the 10 different memes that have been here on the screen all quarter, we'll be releasing to the social media later this week. I can tell you they make great phone wallpapers. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for watching. Thanks for 150 episodes, and we'll see you back here
Maybe.
in about a month.
Okay, bye-bye. I'm not. Just chill. It's okay. It did look like it hurt. Nom nom nom. The elevator's coming for you! The elevator's gonna nom nom you! Put some nom noms in chat, everybody. Nom noms in the chat. Nom noms! Nom noms by the elevator! It's probably time for that one, yeah?